Yes, good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Welcome to another review here on Retro Spectrum. I'm Ewan Spence. Here you find us at YouTube, Retro Spectrum Gaming. You find us online, www.retrospectrumgaming, same on Facebook. And you find me personally on Twitter at twitter.com/Ewan and Twitch is twitch.tv/Ewan Spence. Right then, absolute arcade drop dead classic coming up right now. Probably one of the games when I was growing up that was just, this is a Spectrum, and I can play games like the games in the arcade. I am, of course, talking about the absolute monster of Star Wars from Domark and the guys at Vector Graphics. You know, the big arcade cabinet with the double stick and the twist on it. I only ever saw the upright cabinet. I realised there was a sort of overround one, so you got to actually sit in an X-wing. But no, there was this huge, massive arcade game where you could fly an X-wing and fly in across the surface of the Death Star and fly into the Death Star and blow it up. And then it came out on the Spectrum. And ye gads, it was gorgeous. It was everything you could expect from an arcade game, except you were able to play it at home and just utterly, utterly enjoy the title. It was wonderful. It was glorious, and I gotta say, we're gonna come back to it now. Is it still as fresh? Is it still as fun and exciting? Well, you know what the most exciting bit is? We'll start off. We'll build up with quite a few of them, but the one that really that kicks it off is the fact that my Spectrum could play Star Wars. Not the game. My Spectrum could play the music. I'll be so annoyed if Google gives me a copyright strike for that. Okay, so here we are. Star Wars. Credits going off in the bottom. I mean, you know the sort of look, the almost but not quite taking the image of Mark Hamill and Harrison Ford and Carrie Fisher and the droids in the corner. Transferred over, of course, in the wonderful Spectrum screen, it has to be said, with people who don't look like Mark Hamill, don't look like Harrison Ford, and don't look human. Carrie Fisher appearing to be the Cyclops from the various Ray Harryhausen films going on as well. Darth Vader in the background leaning over and through. Right then, okay. Star Wars with the proper logo. Oh, she's in the Star Wars logo, written by Vector Graphics. Get the name is X-Wing Controls. I mean, not choose your own keys. X-Wing Controls. Yeah. PlayStation DualShock 4. Thank you very much. Continue. It goes away, and you look at the screen and you go, "That's the arcade. That's what I played on holiday." It's got the shield generator at the top. It's got the waves, the scores. It's got the Star Wars logo going off in the background, and you're sort of thinking, "Well, does it have the crawl?" It has the crawl. Obi-Wan Kenobi is gone, but it's present. Look, read that while I go through, because. No, don't read this. I just want to go in and play it. There we go. Fun fact: the controls are reversed. So to climb up, you pull back. So it's airline controls. We'll start off in wave 1, and you go through, and you've got your cursor, and there's TIE fighters coming in, and you've got those firebolts that for some reason were there in the arcade cabinet, but you never saw them use them in the film. They just used laser blasters. And you've got a shield to protect you, and you're going through, and you can, like, the wings go flying off, just like the toy, and oh, there's the Darth Vader TIE fighter as well, which you never saw in Deep Space, so we're not quite following the film here, it has to be said, because you never saw the TIE advanced out there in combat, and when you did, it had shields. That was the backstory. And it was it. This was it. This was Star Wars. This was the experience that is promised to you. with a computer, you have a computer, it plays computer games. There are arcade games, they're just big computers, and you can play them in the comfort of your own home. You can put all the lights off, you can have the Star Wars soundtrack or cassette player and listen to it in your Walkman with headphones on like you're a fighter pilot. Some things don't change. Oh, I've lost a shield. You've got the sound of laser blast, which doesn't quite sound like that, and there is the great big monster that is. Ooh, it's got a fine sci-fi. There we go. The Death Star. The trench across the middle. Of course, if you're very, very careful, it's not the central trench in the film, but it is here. And you've got to dodge. You've got to count how many turrets there are on the surface. Some in the trench, some in the towers. Now you don't actually lose any lives by crashing into the side. This isn't a modern arcade game, which will probably penalise you like anything. It's not even like X-Wing when it came out in the PC, which gave you even more of a thrill. That idea that you had full control of the X-Wing, but here we're back in mid 80s for this wireframe graphics, because that's what outer space graphics were. Like actually flying in the targeting computer from the Star Wars. This is everything you wanted as a child. Your own X-Wing, your own computer, your own. I can use the Force. I can beat the Death Star. If it was me called up, I would be able to do it as well, even though I've only got one shield left. I practiced this just before I started, and I actually managed to get that. It's but it's a Death Star. There's the exhaust port. Bang, 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 bang. Yes! Torpedo away! Shield gone. It's close. That's fine. Boom! So much excitement when I was growing up, and I've tried, and this was pure flashback. No shields remaining. Oh, I've got one added now. So let's take this through to the tail end of 2019, just after everybody has seen the most recent film. There will be no spoilers in this review here. And you start to look back and you think, well, it's not quite the arcade game. It's making a lot of compromises. One of them is the frame rate actually feels incredibly low. I mean, I know lots of it is the spectrum is shifting a lot around the screen. But when you come back to this with that modern eye, don't get me wrong, it is utterly playable. But you've got to think ahead. You've kind of, now we've actually played it, I can probably dig out the frame rate just by doing a sort of step through in the video editor. But a lot of the sort of targeting issues and everything. I mean, my eye is actually getting back in, and it's forgetting that it's quite stuttery. But if I just leave the fire button pressed down on the stick, you'll see that you're not. Your shots are maybe only 2 a second. It's it's not constant fire and everything. It's not the pew 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 that you saw in the film. And also, your X-Wing doesn't move. The arcade, it moves around everything. What you've actually got at the side of the gameplay area are just some fixed wireframe graphics of the guns and the nose. We're on wave 2, so you've got the flying over this bit here. And knowing your Spectrum history, you'll realise that there's this isn't the first time you've got sort of wireframe graphics going on. This sort of movement. I mean, there's a Dark Star, or there's one from Denton Designs a couple of years before this, which is Dark something. And game over, because there's so many shields going through the trench. But it's okay. We'll jump back into wave 3 because I want to do the fly over the surface as well. And also, you don't go back to the menu. Actually, you stay in the sort of arcade loop. So looking back, I have 2 views on this game. The first one is, it's ropey. It's a slow frame rate. There were games that were available earlier in the Spectrum's run that handled graphics like this much more smoothly, that had a higher frame rate, that had a much better sense of speed and flight and dynamics. This is, looking at it, very much an on-rails shooter. It's an Operation Thunderbolt with Star Wars graphics on the top and a slightly bigger gun sight as well, which is always nice. But even then, technically though, it's handling a lot on the screen. It's, we've got these ray trace bolts. There's not a single sign anywhere of using the Spectrum font. It feels like a ray traced game. There is color clash, as you can see there when the cursor just straight into the nose. You'll see that it's actually the external furniture that gets priority as opposed to your gun sight, which I actually think is fair enough. You blast the wings off. Think tock 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 tock. That's probably the best way for me to measure the frame rate later on as well. But it's still a technological achievement for the time. It's still a game where you know what's going on, where you get that sense of I'm in Star Wars. You get that thrill. Star Wars is for the younger generation. Yes, there's Empire Strikes Back that attempts to do proper storyline, but that got thrown out the window with the Return of the Jedi and the Phantom Menace and all of that. And to all intents and purposes, J.J. Abrams' The Force Awakens basically goes back to, just be a kid again and don't worry about things. And I think this is how you have to look back on the Vectographic Star Wars game of the Spectrum, which is, it gave you an arcade game. It gave you the look of an arcade game. It gave you the feel of an arcade game in your own home on the Spectrum. I remember the joy of playing this, and it was such a rush, and it still is. It still is such a rush. Even though I could power up MAME and go for the original arcade one, and you realise that arcade machine was much smoother. You had a 25 FPS kicking on that one, or at least it appears to be. And the little Spectrum at home, if you put them head to head, you can tell. But you know what? Sometimes it is not about the head to head. Sometimes it is not about the practicalities, the frame rates, the weird aiming mechanism, the having to aim off, the I don't remember there being catwalks across the trench in Star Wars. What's going on here? Why are you giving me these great big barriers I have to go through? Well, the answer to that is the original artwork for Star Wars for the trenches had these barriers and walkways going across. So when they came to do the arcade game, the cabinet, they decided to put them in as well. Why is it that there's a Death Star at the end of every wave? How many Death Stars had the Empire actually built? Well, to be fair, as we found out now 9 films in, they're on about 4 Death Star equivalents now. So I think we can give the extended universe of the Star Wars arcade game just a little bit of leeway that way. But when you come back to the emotion, when you come back to what a game actually means and feels to someone back in the 80s, Star Wars it captures the spirit of the film wonderfully. It is, you can go on an adventure, you can be a fighter pilot, you can defeat the Empire single-handedly, and that it's a wonderful feeling. And even playing this game now, even though I can see all the technical stuff that's wrong with it, even though I can see that there were better titles around at the time, there's still that emotional rush that you get whenever you hear the Star Wars theme. There's still that delightful feel when that music kicks in and you think, I'm going to climb into an X-Wing. I'm going to be, and with a quick shot 2 joystick, it felt like an actual pilot control. Is it a game I'm going to come back to time and time again here on the PC in 2019, 2020? Maybe not. It has to be said. I'm going to head to Time City or something, where there's more depth in gameplay. But in terms of when I want to feel like a kid again, I don't think there's anything finer than this. This is the one. This is it. Simple as that. You're the chosen one. Go away and enjoy yourself. Yeah, I've got to let the music play out, haven't I? Like, there are, folks. We'll see you in the next review. Thanks for watching. It is the festive period if you're watching this live. So, love, light, and peace to all of you out there. If you're watching this in the summer or at some point on the YouTube channel, it's the night before Christmas. So, there's a lot of kidding me. I'm Ian Spence, Retrospect from Gaming. Thanks for watching. Ta-ra for